Okay, everybody, we are back in the shop and just finishing up this Cummins adapter. We've got the Cummins 4BT to an SM465. So if you've been following along, you know we started with a big chunk of aluminum. We got all our dimensions milled and turned on the lathe. So as it sits right now, from the back of the motor to our transmission mount, we have 8.5 inches. And as far as I know, that's about as small as an adapter as you can make. And today we have this sitting on there. It's locked into our flywheel housing. Transmission is locked into the, we can push on that. The transmission is locked into that center hole. We have marked our mounting holes, and transmission's going to come off next. We're going to go over to the mill, drill and tap our 4 half 13 mounting bolt holes, and be one step closer to finishing this up. We can probably get the fork pivot in there as well, and at that point I think we'll probably have to wait for the engine. The engine should be here, hoping sometime in January, and we can put the flywheel housing, the flywheel, the clutch. We'll put the adapter on the transmission, and then we will slide everything together and figure out the fork slot that we have to make. But for right now, we're going to pull this guy off and drill and tap the holes we need. Okay, here we are clamped down to the table of the mill. And kind of shiny, but I think you can pick up our prick punches. Got one there. Another one right here. And what we're doing is picking those up with a center drill. And we're putting a nice, let me get you in there. We're putting a nice area where we could drop our drill bit in accurately. Center drill is super rigid and it won't move. Leaves you a nice taper. You could take off with your drill from there. So I find it hard just to go at that with a twist drill. So center drill first when you need to be accurate, and then switch over to your the size drill you need to get your tapped hole. So we'll do all these first, come back, drill them, and then tap them. Okay, we've got all our holes drilled, and I've got my tapping head in the mill. This is kind of a small Etco, and I think it'll push the 1/2 inch through. I haven't tried it yet. I think it'll push the 1/2 inch through. It may go slow and struggle a bit, but this is the biggest one I have. I don't do a lot of real large tapping with it, but we're going to try the 1/2 inch 13 and see if this guy can go through there. So let me get set up so you can see it, and we'll see how it goes through. Okay guys, not too bad. Went through with just a light struggle. I think it got all the way to the through. I'm going to run a bolt through there just to make sure. If not, we'll have to switch to a longer tap. I think it just broke through at the end. Let's check that out, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, here we are off the mill, and I think you can see why I picked these diameters here. You see I've got plenty of room for this bolt to come through, and I kept this diameter from here to here kind of wide so that all these bolts have double thickness. We've got 7/8 there. I forget what we got there, but we've got 2 inches of solid aluminum to catch these bolts. So that's what I did there. We're going to try the transmission on it one more time, bolt it down, and then we're going to make a template to get our fork pivot ball in there. We want that in the right place. As you remember, here's the aluminum Chevy bell housing. As you remember, that fork pivot hole has to be located perfectly. So we've got all our mounting holes in, and we're going to set that up one more time, bolt it down so we know it's good, and then go after this hole next. Okay, there is our adapter on the 465. This is what it's going to look like from the inside. And I did not have the correct size 1/2 inch 13 bolts, so I put some studs into the adapter. You can see them there and there. And this one needs a short bolt, but I didn't have the right bolts. But I wanted to check the fit, and it fits perfectly. And you can see I got a couple more studs here and here, and this is now ready to come off. I know that's going to fit. I know our bolt holes are right on. We'll take this off, and we have the one more hole to put in it, and like I say, that'll be all we're going to do on this phase. We're gonna see how much of this we need to mill out once we get the fork in there, but I want to have this on the engine without the transmission on it, and start playing around with it. So this is going to be our last hole, and we can wrap it up for a while, at least until the engine's ready to go into chassis. So everything's coming along real nice. Our fits everywhere are perfect. We just got that one pivot ball to put in, and hopefully if I could get a little bit more free time, we're going to tear into this 465. I'm going to show you guys how to rebuild that and then put an adapter on it to adapt it to the Model 18 twin stick transfer case. So just stealing little bits of time whenever I can, and I want to get this one last hole put in here, so I'm going to get set up for that, and we'll just go ahead and do it. Okay guys, we got our through hole in there for the fork pivot, and now we got to put a countersink in here to take the flange of it, but still not have the transmission hit it. So the hole, the thread on this thing is 13/16 not a very common thread you run into. The hole for the tap is anywhere from 747 to 752, so you can get away with a 3/4 drill. I happen to have a 748 drill, so that's what I drilled it. And we're going to put an inch countersink, 1/8 of an inch deep. So let me turn on, and we'll get that done, and then after that we can run the tap. Okay guys, got to tap this one by hand. I don't have a tapping head big enough. I've got it still in the mill. I've got a tap follower keeping it straight. You can see that on the top. And it takes a while compared to a tapping head. But you want to make sure to keep that tap nice and straight. And we have the perfect opportunity here in the middle to do that. So we'll just keep after it until we get that thread in there. I didn't have this tap. I had to actually buy it. It's a weird size. I've never used it before, but this is when you go to buy your new pivot ball, it's going to be 13/16. So got to get the right threads in there if I want the ball to fit right. So I think we're just about there. Alright, so there it is. I'll get it cleaned up and meet you over at the bench. Okay guys, that's our last hole, and those are the last threads we need to cut on this adapter. That's the old one that I took out of there. Okay, it's deep enough. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, there it is on the inside, and the thickness right here is the same as the original over there. So this is why I'm going to wait till I have it attached to the vehicle. because as you can see now, all this material and right out to the end there, we're going to have to cut a slot for the fork, and then I'll make a special boot for it. But we have it where it needs to be. When we attach this to the transmission, it'll be in the right place. I'll get everything assembled on the engine. We'll put this on, we'll put the fork on, we'll put the throwout bearing on the fork, and then we will see how much we have to slot and cut out of there. I'm sure it's going to be, you know, the fork isn't real wide, so it might be a little wider than my thumb out here, and we'll cut a slot out of there, and that'll allow the fork to operate. But I can't show you much of that now because I'm not ready to do it. But I hope that gives you an idea. If you have to make an adapter, it could be for anything. It could be for any engine transmission combination. Just take your time. Get your measurements as accurate as you can. And just start making it happen. It was... It was almost another, I don't know, 3-4 hours to get everything laid out, tapped, test fit, the pivot done, you know, all the holes and everything. That's critical. You want that your transmission to go in and out of there with precision, but smoothly. And it takes a while, but it's worth it. Like I say, we're into this thing for complete from the back of the engine to the transmission. We're in there for 8.5 inches, and that's pretty nice. I'm going to put the engine, the back of the engine, where the back of the original F-head was in the 3B, and we didn't even pick up an inch on, you know, the adapter and everything. So PTO for the welder and the overdrive linkage, all that should work out just fine. And I think we're going to quit this one for a while. Like I say, I have to wait for the engine to show up before I go any further. So we'll move on to other things in the next video. And I hope this gives some people some ideas of how to adapt engines to transmissions. And that's about all I have for you today. So everybody, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend, and let's keep the channel going. Okay, everybody continue to have a happy holiday, and New Year's coming up. Enjoy it, and I'll catch you on the next one.